And well, hello again, everybody. Again, my name is Mariah Burkert. I am one of the Ally Center tutors. In my free time, I also am an adjunct professor at LBC, and I teach and write ladies' Bible studies at my church. So, I like to stay busy. Today we are going to be going over all things recording wise. We are going to cover PowerPoint. We're going to cover Canvas Studio, and we're going to cover, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but PechaKucha or whatever it is. I like to call it, it's like the Pikachu recording. So who knows if that's what it's called. And then if people are interested, we can also spend a couple of minutes at the end just briefly reviewing the recording features of Zoom, because Zoom has a couple of features that you can play with as well. Those of you who have viewed our previous workshops, not attended live, but viewed them previously, you're watching a Zoom recording. So just so that you know, so that's what we're using every time we do these workshops, is we're using Zoom. So like I said, we'll cover that just briefly at the end. Again, let's just do a brief show of hands. We did this a couple minutes ago before we started recording. Who here has either a final project or something for school that you're like, oh my goodness, I need to know, how do we do these recording things, because we're in desperate need. Wonderful. So we're excited. We're here to jump in. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen. Sharing screen is one of the features that you can use with Zoom. So we're going to talk about Zoom. We're also going to talk about it with PowerPoint and with your Canvas Studio option. Now, the very first thing that I want to cover is again, we're just going to call it the Pikachu. We're just going to call it Pikachu, because I know that some of you, your professors have specifically required you to use this platform. Even if you're not required to, what's nice about this website is that it's very straightforward and very simple. It doesn't give you a lot of ways to sort of play around and do cool stuff. It's pretty much just like, here's what you have. This is all you've got. So whenever you type in PechaKucha or whatever it is, you can just type it into Google. You'll need to set up an account. You can just sign up for a free account. You don't need to sign up for a paid account. I have done that and I have already logged in. If you are planning to use this platform and you haven't yet created your free account, I would encourage you right now, just go ahead and pull it up while you're watching me sort of go along, so that you can sort of catch up along the way, so we can be in as much as possible. Once you've logged in, you may need to sort of come back up here and hit the home button again. Eventually, what you want to do is you want to have the option to hit this create button. We're going to click create, and we're going to click create presentation. Most of the time, the professors are requiring the 20 by 20. They're saying, hey, you're going to have to pick 20 images, and it's limited to 20 seconds per slide. If your professor is requiring something different, well, you've got a few additional options here. But this is what I mean by it's very sort of in a box. These are the only 5 options that you have for your Pikachu presentation. So I'm going to select a 20 by 20. Wait an eternity and a half for it to load. And now it takes you to this screen where it says upload your images. Now, if you got the Pro edition, then you would be able to just upload an entire PowerPoint presentation that you've previously created, but we're working with the free account. So we're uploading individual images. Now you have a couple of options here. For some of your presentations, you're really just working with pictures and you're like, I don't need to create anything crazy. It's just like, hey, I need to talk about some different pictures. If that's the case, I don't know about you, but most of my pictures live on my phone. And so you're like, okay, I need to get my pictures from my phone to my computer. How do I do that? If you have some sort of Apple technology and everything's the same, then oftentimes you can just airdrop one thing to the next. And if you're familiar with that technology, fabulous. Otherwise, what you can always do is you can email files to yourself. So you take the file from your phone, email it to your school account, and then open it on your computer and download it to your account. Once you have them downloaded, then you'll go to your folder and just make sure that you know where they are. So in my work computer, they actually usually don't go to downloads. They actually end up going most of the time to pictures. And then my photos will appear in either the camera roll or in the screenshots. Whenever I go to upload, I'm going to upload for my screenshots because I actually happen to have a fair number of screenshots there. So that's option one, is that you can upload pictures directly from your phone or from wherever you store photos. Another option that you can take advantage of is if you do create a PowerPoint presentation. So like I have this one right here. Something you can do is you can take a screenshot of your PowerPoint slide and it will save to your computer as a screenshot and it'll be a picture. And so if you wanted to create individual PowerPoint slides and then use it for the PechaKucha presentation, you can still do that. The commands to do that are different depending on what type of computer you have. So I'm not going to spend extensive time talking through that. On my work laptop, there is a button that says PRT SC, and it's for print screen, print screen. And so I just hit that button, and then it'll pop up and say, hey, do you want to do part of the screen? Do you want to do the whole screen? And then I'll select the portion of the screen. Okay, yes, I want to do a rectangle and I'm going to draw it from here to here, click and drag, select, and then that'll save to my screenshots. If it's a Mac, it's like 3 different buttons that you have to hit all at the same time. It's a little bit complex. We're not going to go there. Once I know I have all of my images, whether they're just pictures or they're screenshots of my PowerPoint slide, then I'm going to go to upload images. And then it's going to take me again to my folders. Now, remember earlier how I said, hey, I need to make sure that I know where everything is, because if it takes me somewhere else, I need to know where to get to. It took me to my OneDrive account, which is not where my pictures are living. So I need to navigate to my screenshots. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to come down here. You can either go to pictures or just directly to the, oh, it doesn't cancel. I was like, it has the screenshots folder right there. Nope. All right, and then it has all of these pictures here. So I need 20, so I can select up to 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20. Great. I'll open. And it's uploading those slides here. Regina, thanks for joining us. Exciting to have you tonight. We just started talking about PechaKucha, or the Pikachu app, as I like to call it. And so it will go ahead and upload all of those images in the order that you selected them in. So you have options here. So you can do a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of editing in this space. So you can click and drag to reorder. So if you're like, oh no, that was the wrong one, this one needs to be first, you can click and drag it around. If you want to write words on top of it, you can do it. It's kind of like in PowerPoint, but it's a lot more limited in function. Once you're satisfied with your slides or pictures as they are, whatever the order is, you're going to come down to the bottom.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you choose a screenshot, say like a plain screenshot, like I don't know, a picture of a dinosaur,
Sure.
and you wanted to add some facts about the dinosaur, can you do that?
Yes. So you would click on the oh, so maybe. Looks like, let's see. It looks like you might need to do text overlay, you might need a more advanced account. So you can crop a little bit, or you could add in like a title slide. So let's add a title slide. Let's see what it does. Dinosaur facts. Let's see where it
Well, there's additional text.
Which one did we click on?
I don't know.
I don't know. I clicked on this one. No, so nothing appears on it. So I think that you would need the paid account in order to do that.
Okay.
It's a good question, Margie.
Okay.
So what you want to do next is, again, you have options for the narration piece. Now, this is where, so at the beginning, we talked about some platforms allow you to have your face in it, and some of them don't. This one does not. This one is voice record only. So you're only going to see the pictures and hear your voice. So this one is not a good option if your professor is requiring you to have a cameo for your face to appear in the actual recording. So it's for some of you, you're already like, oh, do not pass go, do not collect $100, $200 from the Pikachu platform. If you are required to use this platform, or if you're like, look, I don't need my face to be in it, I've got enough to worry about without worrying about what I look like, then this is a good option. I would recommend choosing the record audio narration instead of uploading a separate audio file, because the platform itself is going to guide you through the recording for each picture, which is the nice thing about it, is that it's very regimented and it's very structured. So I'll hit save as draft and continue.
So is this like very similar to PowerPoint,
Mm,
except for you can download your own images?
So it's like a very simplified version.
Okay.
It's very, very simplified. Very, 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 very simplified. It's very much like, here's your structure. You get 20 slides and you get 20 seconds, and this is all you got. And
Okay.
it doesn't give you a lot of room for a lot of wiggle room, which in some cases is nice, because if you're only looking for 20 slides, 20 seconds, then that's what you get. Now, what's here is, so you see this button says record. Now it may give you it's not going to give you an error here. So if I hit start, notice that it started counting. So I know that I have an additional 20 seconds to fill before it automatically loads the next slide. So I'm talking about the elements of the rhetorical situation
Alexa off.
based on my
Oh,
screen
sorry.
shot. So you're good. And now, do you see how it automatically advanced that slide? It automatically went to the next one, which is nice, because then it just sort of keeps you moving. You know, you got this many seconds remaining. Now, if you needed to pause for a second because you finished talking about this one and then you said, "Oh no, I don't I don't know what the next one is. Hold on just a second." You can hit stop, and then you can either just start it again, or you can undo the last slide. If you just had a complete snafu for the last 20 seconds and you're like, I need to re-record that whole section. And that's how you do it. You just keep on going until you reach the end. And then you have your 20 seconds, 20 slides. So six minutes, 40 seconds altogether. You'll continue through the steps, preview with audio, waiting for it to save.
So what if you don't have 20 seconds worth of narrative?
Well, that's the goal of the assignment.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
got you.
So
All right.
for the specific assignment that the professors are requiring for this platform, they're specifically asking the students to fill 20 seconds of time, or roughly
Okay,
20 seconds of time. So
got you.
that's part of the challenge of this particular platform, is that they really want you to nail it within 20 seconds.
Gotcha.
Which in some cases, for some people, you're like, oh, that's great. That means I only have to fill 20 seconds. For others of us, we struggle a little bit because I'm like, what do you mean I only get 20 seconds? I need more time than that. Or sometimes I talk fast. And so, you know, I may say, oh, I need to re-record that slide because I already have the information. I just need to slow down and deliver it a little bit more slowly. And so I may re-record that slide. It wants me to let it play. So I'm not going to do that. Because we don't have that kind of time. But you would practice, you would let it play, and then you would hit save audio and continue, and eventually you would export it. And that's the file that you would upload. And it's going to be, again, just your voice over top of the images that you've selected. And it's going to be 20 seconds by 20 seconds. And that's the Pikachu. Does anybody have, I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment so I can see everybody. Does anybody have any questions before we move on to the next platform?
I do. It may be a silly one,
No
so forgive
worries.
me. Does it have to be using the PechaKucha site that you were on? Can you do a PechaKucha presentation using just a regular PowerPoint?
Yeah,
Or
so your professors, you'll have to check with your professors to see what they want.
Okay.
Most professors that I've talked to and that I've had conversations with, they don't really mind which kind of platform you use to create your presentation as long as it fits the requirements. So whenever we move over to PowerPoint, I'll show you how you could just do the entire thing in PowerPoint and not even touch the platform. And you can still do 20 seconds by 20 seconds and it'll still work out to the same thing. And you just have a little bit more flexibility then. A lot more flexibility. That's actually a really good question.
Thank you, Mariah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jason. Go ahead. You can talk. You're unmuted.
Yes, ma'am. So did I understand you correctly? If I go to the search bar on Google
Mhm.
and type in PechaKucha or however it's pronounced, it'll take me to the site where I can set up that account like you were operating off of.
Yeah, so I'll even show you. So new tab, completely new tab, and I'm going to type PECHA space KUCHA, enter. And then you'll have to look to see what's the correct one.
I'm sorry, you're cutting
Oh, I
in and
stopped
out. You've
sharing. I
been
stopped
cutting in
sharing.
and out. I'm sorry.
Stop sharing because I'm a silly person. Here, let's go back. All right, thumbs up
Okay.
if you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen okay? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I can only see some of the people, so I was like, oh no, wait
Yes,
a second.
ma'am.
Okay, so I'll do this search again. So my first search results are just from the AI being silly, and so I don't want these initial results. I'm going to scroll down until I get to the actual website itself, and I'll click on that. And I already signed in, so it's not even giving me the sign in screen. But for you, it'll prompt you and say, hey, sign in or create an account. Any follow-up questions, or does anybody have any other questions? Cool. If something pops up later, feel free to wrap back around and say, okay, well, wait, wrapping back around to the Pikachu app.
To
Let's
select
go ahead and move to Canvas Studio. So I'm going to X out of this, X out of this, X out of this, and come over to Canvas Studio. So you have some recording options in Canvas itself. So if you log into your Canvas platform through the student portal, you're like, wait, what is this recording thing that you're talking about? Over here on the far left-hand side where the black menu is, if I scroll down, there's the studio option. So you can click on studio and it'll take you to sort of your home base here. Now, if you've recorded anything in the past, you'll see like I have here that there are a couple of videos that I've saved and recorded, and I just keep them around so whenever I'm showcasing Canvas Studio. So these are here. Now over here on the top right-hand side, you have the blue button that says Create. This will give you three options: the Studio Capture, Screencast-O-Matic, and then Add Media. So I'm going to talk about this second one first. So Screencast-O-Matic, if I select this one, you may need to upload some software, but it is essentially doing an entire screen share. So your face isn't going to be in it, but it's just going to capture your entire screen. Whatever you're doing, it's going to do the whole thing, and it's going to capture the entire thing all at once. For some things, that'll be nice, because you'll be able to, this was working earlier, whatever. It's all good. For some things, it's nice because you need to like walk somebody through a process, but for some things, it's not going to work as well. So notice on the bottom left-hand side how it has the record button over here on the left, and it has all of these options for you. The other thing you can notice is that it's giving me some options to either do the screen. It looks like you can add in the webcam. Now, it won't let me do that right now because my computer is using the webcam to record our Zoom session. So if I try to select it, it's going to give me an error because it's saying, hey, we can't do this. So I'm going to go back to screen. Notice as well that you can drag the box. So I can
I have a
adjust.
question. I have a
Yes, ma'am.
question real
Yeah.
quick. So if you're using the screen, why would you want the webcam?
So if you wanted to have your it's one of the options that allows you to just record your face, so it functions kind of like Zoom. I personally wouldn't use just the webcam option for any of your presentations that you're doing, because all of you need to have some sort of multimedia additions, whether it's
Right.
a PowerPoint or something else. So I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't use that option. So you're probably either going to be using, again, just the screencast-o-matic or the plus the webcam, which again, I can't quite show you all the way just because my webcam is already in use for this recording.
So you could use a screenshot.
Yeah.
And then you could also be in that screenshot talking.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I can't show you what that
They
would
told me you
look
couldn't
like.
do that. See,
Yeah.
they said you couldn't do that, but that's not true. That's easy.
Yes. And it's going to be even easier in PowerPoint. So just hang on. We're saving the best for last. I personally love,
Okay.
I love PowerPoint. So this is one option. So you can hit record and then it'll start recording 3, 2, 1. And it's just rolling. It's saying, hey, we're talking, whatever. I can navigate to any screen and it's still recording. So it's kind of nice. It's got some nice options here. So I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to hit done. So that was the middle option, the screencast, which again, if you're trying to move from one screen to another screen, that can be nice because, again, for those of us who are doing things like showing students how to navigate different platforms, it's a nice way to sort of record what we're doing in live time. So we can be like, okay, so we're going to start over here, and then you're going to click on this screen over here. The other option that is a creating option is the studio capture. If you click on studio capture, it will again give you a couple of options here. So you can click on, yes, I would like to screen capture. It's disabled right now, so I want to enable it. So you have to select the tab that you want to edit in or to record in. So I want to record in, let's say, the new tab. And then I'm going to just take it to the library pages so it has something to record. And then I want to hit share. So it's sharing with the device right now. Notice that it's graying out the camera button again. Why? Because it's in use for the webcam Zoom recording right now. If we weren't using this, if we weren't in a workshop, you would see that this is available, so you can add your face in if you want as well. So this is another option where you can have your face in along with the recording. So regardless, you will start the recording. Yeah,
Question.
go ahead.
So your face live?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So these are
Alright.
some, again, some fun options, right? So right now it's, so I want to share this tab. So it's sharing this tab, and notice that it gave me, it's pulling me up here at the top, sharing this tab to canvas.edu. So if I wanted to show people, for example, how to see where our previous workshops are recorded, I could record just that by recording, and it's only reviewing this individual tab. It's not if I move somewhere else, it's still going to show just this tab, no matter where else I go, because I only shared it to that one tab. Which again, it can be nice. That's something that you can use. Now I'm going to say finish recording. And I don't need it, so I'm just going to X out of it, discard. Now another option that you have in Canvas Studio on the create menu is to add media. Now I actually have started recommending to students to use this feature if you are using anything else to record, to add media from whatever the other recording device is, because it will allow other people who are using Canvas to see it embedded in the app, and they won't have to download your video. Because I'm sure we've all come across periods of time whenever somebody like attached a document or they attached their file, their video file, and then in order for you to view it, like for an introductory discussion forum, you had to actually download it to your computer. That's because they just uploaded it directly instead of adding the media here first by browsing files and then using Canvas Studio to upload it. It's an extra step, but it's nice. So just that doesn't have anything to do with the actual recording. That just has to do with the integration of the technology. Anybody have any questions on that before we move into PowerPoint? My favorite, my very favorite.
You'll make this available to us, correct?
Of course, always.
Okay. I knew that.
Always.
Thank you.
So let's move over to PowerPoint. Like I said, PowerPoint is actually my personal favorite. Now, I pulled up my PowerPoint, but I'm actually going to get out of PowerPoint just so that everybody's aware. The way you access PowerPoint is through your Outlook account. So if you go into your student portal, actually, let's go ahead and start there. We'll go to lbc.edu. Top left-hand side, we have our student portal. And then in the middle, we have our entire beautiful Microsoft suite. So that's what you would click on. And it'll take you to the mail. That's always what it's going to take you to. Why? I don't know. It's decided that the mail is the most important thing for us to navigate to. So it'll take you to mail. And then on the left-hand side, there are all of these other apps, all of these other applications. You might have PowerPoint appearing right away on the side. If it's not there, then no worries. Just click on this button right here. It's more applications. And then you're going to click on Go to PowerPoint. You've paid for access to PowerPoint through being a student at LBC. So no matter if you've had a separate Microsoft account in the past or not, you will have access to this. I'm going to click on Create a blank presentation. And then I just want to show you. So Microsoft Online is nice for some things. What it cannot do is it cannot record. So in order for you to record, you will need to open it in the desktop. Now, again, some of you may already have the desktop platform set up. If so, then you're good, you're ready to go. If not, you'll just need to download it. And again, that's just an application that you're downloading on your computer. In order for you to open your presentation that you're working on in PowerPoint desktop, I always click on the wrong button. There we go. I clicked on the right one this time. Hallelujah. You're going to click on the editing button and then notice that the third button down is open in desktop. That's what you want. You're going to want to open in desktop because if you notice over here, if we look at this menu, I have home, insert, draw, design, transitions, animation, slideshow, review, view, and help. Do I have the option to record? No, there is no option to record. I remember the first time I was helping a student walk through this and I was like, wait, where's the record button? And I'm Googling like, where's the record button? And then the Google was like, well, it's not available online. And I was like, oh, well, that answers it then. So we have to go to the desktop option. So I'm going to open one that I've already created some stuff in. So this is, if some of you were here for Thesis Construction 101, a fabulous and fun workshop telling you all about thesis construction. And I've already selected the record option. You'll notice that it's over here toward the right-hand side of our menus over here at the top. For most of you, you're going to want to just get right in. Again, I love PowerPoint. I find it really, really flexible. So because you can do all sorts of stuff in PowerPoint, right? Like you can do fun transitions, you can add pictures, you can add text wherever you want. And so to me, PowerPoint gives me the most creative power. Some of you don't want creative power. You're like, I just need to get the assignment done. And that's fine too. Readmit Margie here. Now, whenever you are in this space, you'll notice that right away over here on the left-hand side, you have this cameo button. For those of you who are being required to have your face appear, this is what you're going to want to select. You're going to want to select the cameo option. Come on. Okay. Notice that it's giving me all of these options for how it's going to appear. Right now, I have it appearing on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. and it's in a circle. If I wanted, I could change it to the square with sort of the fuzzy edges, or maybe I want a diamond. I don't know. That seems to be a little bit limiting there. I kind of like the circle. Circles are nice. And then I can move this. So I can move this to whatever part of the screen I decide that I want my face to appear. And I can even change it slide to slide. So if I wanted on here for the first slide, but then I want somewhere else for the next slide, I can move it, which is, again, super fun, super exciting. Notice that I have over here the option to apply to all slides. If you want it on every slide, then you're going to want to hit that button instead of manually inserting it for every single slide, because that's a pain. Otherwise, you can just say, yes, apply to all slides. That's beautiful. Once you have your face in, then you're going to come back over to the record option. And you're going to click from beginning. Now, some of the other nice features with the PowerPoint record is that you can add notes. Notice that the notes that are here are toward the top of the page. And that's where, for most of us, our cameras are also at the top of our screen. So if I'm looking right at the camera right now, if I'm looking at the notes, it looks like I'm looking at the camera, which is really nice, especially if you're giving a speech where they're requiring you to make it look like you're sort of presenting off the top of your head a little bit. Having your notes right there at eye level makes it so even if you still don't want to read your notes word for word, but it's a lot easier to sort of go off of that than to have to go like, wait, hold on, I need to look at my notes real quick, and it's just right there for you. Notice again that the camera is off. Why is the camera off? Because Zoom is using my camera. So it's not going to let me practice showing you how the cameo is going to appear because it's using it for the Zoom workshop. But highly encourage you to play around with it and see what that looks like. So most of the time, I don't think that PowerPoint will let you edit the notes right up there. You'll have to go back to editing the presentation. And it's oftentimes hard to see where the notes are. They're at the bottom of the screen down here. It's really faint and grayed out and it says click to add notes. What I always like to do is I like to sort of manipulate the screen a little bit and I click and drag so that this is bigger so that I actually have some room to actually make my notes. So these are my fabulous notes for my presentation. Type out whatever you need to. Then if I go back to the record from beginning, notice, voila, there are my beautiful notes that I just typed. And again, especially for those of us who are being graded on presentation, and it's not just like, hey, put together this slideshow and do your best. And they're actually like, no, we really want you to try to like pull together a presentation that's looking professional. That's going to be really helpful. Now, you can set up a timer in PowerPoint so that things will automatically advance. Personally, I like the freedom to be able to just advance the slides manually. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to test it, start recording. 3, 2, 1. And we've started to roll. And so it's telling me how many seconds I've gone on this particular slide. If I'm doing a 20 by 20, which again, a lot of you are, you can still just wait all the way through until we get to 20 seconds, and then you can manually advance the slide. You can either click down here, or you can use your arrow keys to sort of just navigate through the document. And I was a little bit slow, which is okay. No big deal. So if you notice again at the top, it's telling me the total time that's elapsed and the time that's elapsed just on this slide. So it still tells you, helps you keep track of how many seconds you've been talking on each slide. Now, if I wanted to pause and say, you know what, I didn't talk fast enough for that first slide. I need to re-record that first slide. But I didn't decide it until the second slide was done. Remember how in the Pikachu app thing, I could only re-record the very last slide? what's nice about PowerPoint is it gives you the availability to go back to the first slide or any slide that you've previously recorded and re-record over just that one slide. Which again is fabulous, especially if you sort of bobble a little bit and then you don't stop right away and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. And then you look back later and you're like, you know what? I know that I can do better on that slide. I want to re-record it. You can just re-record that one single slide. You don't need to redo the entire thing, which again is fabulous. Just like with the other one, you're going to go all the way through. You're going to record all of your elements. Now, some of you may end up just sort of saying, okay, I'm saving it and I'm submitting the PowerPoint show. Well, if you do that and you submit it as a PowerPoint presentation, then what your professor would do is they'll actually open it and they'll play it as if they were running the PowerPoint. And so they'll say, okay, this is the first one, and they'll have to manually advance through each slide. That's an option, and you can do that. However, if you go back into record, so whatever I'm getting.
So how do you re-record
You would hit
frame?
the button, retake recording.
Just that. So you would go back to that frame and then you would just hit record that button there.
Yep, retake recording. And if you were on a new one, so I've never recorded anything on this one, notice that it has the big red button because it's like you haven't recorded anything on this one. But if you're on one that you've already recorded something on, it wants to let you know, hey, you have a recording here, so you don't just hit play. Do you want to retake this slide? Redo the slide altogether. It's not going to let you add anything on this particular slide. You'd have to re-record.
Okay.
Once you're finished and you've recorded on all of your slides and you're delighted with your presentation, you're like 5 stars me, I did a great job. Give myself a pat on the back. You hit this export button. And then notice that it's saving as an MP4 file. So it would save essentially like a little movie. And so whenever your professor opens it, instead of them having to click through each individual slide, it's just going to play. And it's going to automatically advance from slide to slide. And it's just going to roll. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be fabulous. It's great. Now, anytime you're saving anything anywhere, again, I always say to just make sure that you're aware of where it's saving to. Right now, this is saving to my OneDrive folder at Lancaster Bible College. I would be perfectly happy with that. If you were not happy with that, you would hit the browse button and say, oh, actually, I need to save it somewhere else. I need to save it to my downloads or to my desktop or to my personal OneDrive or whatever the case may be. Questions? Any questions in general on recording in PowerPoint?
I kind of miss my internet went out. I don't know why. It's been doing it like once a week. So when you add your cameo to talk live during your presentation, you just hit that, correct? You pick what side, what shape you want, and then you'll be speaking live.
Yes.
Through each
what
clip.
I would do is I would, if you want your face to appear in that same spot on every slide, hit apply to all slides. If you want it somewhere different, then you may want to move it around from slide to slide. Now, let's see if I have this one here, this one's here. If I add it, let's play around with this a little bit. Where did it go? Record. So let's say that I want to apply it here. And let's just say I say apply to all slides. It put it on all of the slides, but I can still click and move it over. So if you wanted you wanted the cameo to be on all the slides, you can just hit that apply to all slides, but you can still go slide to slide. And let's say that you have an image that comes over here on the right-hand side for one of those slides. You can move your cameo to like the top left-hand corner or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Additional questions?
I have a question. Can I complete all 20 slides, then go back and record individually, or it has to be, and it also or has to be done at the same time, or I could just break it up as I go along?
Yep. And so that's, again, the nice thing about PowerPoint is that it's very, very flexible. So you could complete the introduction slide and then record it and then continue to build your slides. You can, so if we go back into record. So I've already recorded on slide 1 and slide 2. Because I didn't do anything else with the presentation, it still has that information saved. So it doesn't matter how many times I exit in and come back out, it's going to save that information until you tell it, hey, either delete it or retake it. So you have a lot of flexibility in PowerPoint to do whatever your creative process needs. So if you are like, even if you record, let's say you recorded this slide and then you realize that you missed some information on it, you need to edit the slide. So you go back, you edit the actual PowerPoint slide, and then you go back into recording, and I would say go from current slide, so it takes you right to the slide you're working on. And then you would re-record this particular slide. And so whenever you're actually recording, let's say I'm like, okay, I'm 45 seconds in, I'm going to restart on slide 3. So I hit start, 3, 2, 1. I can either talk and just talk through, and then as soon as I'm done with my 20 seconds, I can advance to the next slide. Or if I'm like, you know what, I know what's on the next slide, I just need to take a second to gather myself before I move forward, I can hit pause. Okay. And then I can keep going. Or I can say stop. You know what? Just stop the recording. Okay. Pause. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next screen. Take a look at the next one. And then I'm going to start the recording again. And then it'll do the countdown for you. So you have the ability to either allow it to just flow. And so you can just keep on advancing the slides and you just roll. Or you can pause it in between each one, which again, for some of us can be nice because we like to gather our thoughts in between each element. And hit stop. Something else that you can do is you can play around with the options a little bit. You can always play around with which microphones you're using. So right now, I know that Letha's using some headphones there, so if that's going to be a different microphone than what your computer normally uses. So that's something that you can change, especially if you're looking for a higher quality of sound. Some of you cool cats have multiple cameras set up. I'm not that cool, but some of you may be at that point. And so you can always play around with your cameras. Yeah, Regina.
So if you are advancing each slide as you're recording, during when you actually present, will it continue to just advance the slides, or do you have to click each slide?
You have to click.
Okay.
Now, I think I'm relatively certain. Let me see here. So if you go to slideshow, you can add timings. And so you can, whenever you're setting up your slideshow, you can say, hey, I want to add some of those timings in. And so I'm looking for the options here to see where I feel like there is a way, clear timings in all slides. I feel like there is a way for you to get it to automatically advance the slides. I just can't see where it is.
I feel like you should do an entire class on like a whole semester on PowerPoint and every little thing we learn.
PowerPoint is just so beautiful. I love PowerPoint.
I want to learn it so like I want to know everything.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that this is where you would do it. So whenever you're looking at the menus, you have this transitions menu option. And there's a difference between, and we've talked about this in our PowerPoints that pop presentation. Transitions go from one slide to the next slide. Animations, the next menu item over, are whenever you have individual items appearing on your screen. So if you wanted different things to appear sort of one by one. So if you wanted to have something appearing on the screen, or you wanted it to automatically advance, see how it says advanced slide over here? if I didn't want it to wait until I clicked, then I would remove the on mouse click, and it's automatically going to advance after 24 seconds. Now, if you're doing the automatic thing and you're doing the 20 by 20, you could say, well, do 20. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. And it went to 20 seconds. So after 20 seconds, it would automatically advance. And you'd want to apply that to every slide. And so you can play around with that if you wanted to try out the automatic timing. For a lot of us, that's not going to be what you want to do. And that might be stressful if you feel like it's automatically going and you're sort of like, just give me just let me, I need a second to breathe. If you need that, then you can just pause it, manually click to advance it and go through, or you can play around with this timing option. And again, that's in transitions, where it'll transition from one slide into the next slide. Additional questions. This is sort of the fun space.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. If I'm in PowerPoint and I want to choose some scenery or pictures to correspond with a slide, how would I access those different forms of pictures while I'm in PowerPoint? What tab or button would I push, please?
It's a great question. And if you want additional information, we'll just spend a couple minutes on it here. Again, I just keep name dropping my PowerPoints, that prop presentation. I promise that I'm not paid to advertise my own workshops. But
it is a good workshop and it shows all that. He would be, you need to watch it. It teaches you everything.
Oh, stop, Margie. I also did
It
not.
does.
I will show you where to find that PowerPoint presentation, but so you'd go to the insert menu. So the insert menu is where you're adding in anything that's an image or anything like that.
Okay.
You can choose pictures, and the pictures, you have options. So if you have pictures on your computer, you would choose pictures from this device. Or if you don't have anything on your computer, you can use stock images. And the stock images will take you to, it's just, it's a stock image. So it's kind of like it's pretty things, but you're like, okay, so these are some images. And then they give you all of these different categories. So you can do icons, cut out people, stickers,
Oh, okay.
tune people. So you've got a lot of things that you can take a look in with just that drop down. So that's insert menu, picture drop down, stock images.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You can always play, again, you can always go on Google and just Google something and then you manually copy and paste something in. What's nice about using the stock images is, first of all, you won't have to worry about there being like, if you got something from a website that, you were really supposed to pay for, you won't have to worry about that stock image printed across it. And sometimes if you're getting something off of the internet, the quality will be distorted because it won't be the right size. And so the stock images is a nice option to go with because it'll be consistent with both of those additional considerations. Great question.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Now, I know this is only until 8 o'clock, but are you going to show me how to do like what you're doing right now?
Yes. So Zoom is its own special little thing. And whenever you're using Zoom, you'll notice that, and it's going to be hard for me to show you because I'm in Zoom right now. But anytime you are setting up one of your own meetings, and this is what you would do if you were recording your screen, you would set up your own personal meeting. So I'm going to go to meetings and go to personal room. You don't need to actually schedule a meeting. You can just go to your personal room. And then did you see how there's just that start button right there? Start button will start the recording. Now it won't start it right now. It's going to say, wait a second, you're already doing something in Zoom. I can't start another meeting right now, silly. But that's what you would do. Now, if you click on edit, which I am going to do, you'll notice that it has some options here. The option that we're especially interested in is under the additional options. So it says options, click show. And you want to select the option that says automatically record meeting to the cloud. And then whenever it does that, you will then, whatever you record will automatically save to Zoom and you'll have it there in Zoom. Now, and again, this is going to be slightly difficult. It's not gonna pop up and show you. I have wrangled Zoom on many sessions to try to figure out one of these days. I'm going to get there. But to actually show you what I'm doing inside Zoom. So inside Zoom, if you move your cursor around, so if you have the Zoom windows showing and you move the cursor around, there should be some options that pop up. Usually mine pop up on the bottom where it says audio, video, participants, etc. Now, something on your screen somewhere should be telling you that I am recording. Everybody see that there's an option that I'm recording. Whenever I start it, because I've already selected to record the meeting, it's not going to ask me, hey, do you want to record? It's just automatically recording. However, if you forgot to change that menu option, you can always select the more option and then click pause or, well, right now it says pause or stop recording. You can say start recording. So for some of you, whenever we've been in either study group or we've been in a session and you're like, wait, is there any way that we can get a recording of this? And I say, absolutely, give me just a second. That's what I'm doing. I'm telling it, hey, start recording right now. And then it's recording. So whenever it's just recording the webcam, that's whenever you're just in the meeting and it's just showing your face. Now, for those of you who have shared your screen, right? You've been in a session with your tutor and they're like, hey, can you share your screen so that I can see the assignment that you're working on? That's what you're doing. Whenever you're doing that, you're going to just say, hey, I need to share my screen. You're going to click on the share button. And then if you are doing a thing where you want your face to appear, on the right-hand side, there are some layout options for you. And if you want, you can select, there are three, at least on mine, there are three options where your cameo can appear in the actual recording as well. And so on the right-hand side, and again, I'm sorry, I can't, again, one of these days, Zoom will actually allow me to show you the things that I'm doing on the Zoom screen. I think I need multiple cameras for that. One of these days, they'll get us better technology. But that's where you would do it, is that you would do it there. Another sort of workaround that you can do in Zoom is if you have multiple devices. So right now I'm on my work laptop, and I can also join Zoom from my personal laptop or from my phone. And so I could join the meeting as like a participant, mute myself, turn that camera off, and then I could record it like a regular meeting like I am now. And so then if you don't want to have to worry about that cameo option, so if you wanted it just to display like I am right here, then you can record it like that. And that's another way that you can do it too, especially if you're trying to show additional elements. If, for example, you may see on one of the presentations, one of the workshops where there's nobody on the workshop because people canceled last minute or whatever the case may be, you'll still see my face. My face will still be there on the right hand side because that's just the functionality of Zoom. Zoom always has the person who's presenting's face over on the side, so that's something that you can play around with as well.
What about changing your background with let's say text? Can you do that?
Like how am I back?
Right now you have a mountain in the background. Say I wanted to have something else in the background and then change it as I go through it. Can I do that? No.
It's a great question. I've never tried to do that. So whenever you're going to the share, whenever you're actually sharing your screen, there's a lot of different options that you can have. So I know one of the options is for you to do the PowerPoint as the background. And again, I've never personally tried that, but so if you're going over right now, whenever I click on share, the first option that I see is the screens, and then I have the documents menu and then the advanced menu. So if you go to the advanced menu, you can do PowerPoint as background. And then actually, let me see if I can test this out right now. So I think I still have that PowerPoint open. Let's try that. Is it open? It's thinking about it. Okay. All right.
Oh, perfect.
and then I can advance the slide.
So can we download? That's perfect. That's exactly what I need right there.
And then here I am.
So how do I get, okay, do I have to do a PowerPoint presentation
Yeah.
without audio and then come on here and just speak, right?
Yeah, so this is very similar to what you would do. Now, obviously, it's a little bit more exciting because you get the full Zoom screen, but this is very similar to what the Cameo option is in Zoom, not in Zoom, in PowerPoint. So PowerPoint would also have my face sort of down here on the right-hand side, and so that's one of the ways that it's going to display.
Yeah, I know, but that looks more reporterish.
It does look sort
And
of.
listen, so what button did you press on Zoom to
Yeah,
get set
so
up?
remember that you always want to make sure you turn your recording on, and that's going to be the key
Mhm.
element is to turn the recording on
Right.
whenever you're ready. But what I clicked is the share button,
Share. Yep, I have that.
and then you go to the advanced menu
Advance. Yep.
and click PowerPoint as background.
PowerPoint as background.
And then
Okay.
it'll prompt you and say, well, which one? And it'll pull up your file and you'll have to select the PowerPoint and
Select
open that up.
file. Yep. Ooh, okay.
I know, so much fun, right? Oh my
So
God,
much.
that's exciting.
I definitely need this recording because I will be referring, even though I was taking notes, I know I'll forget something.
Well, that's no problem. That's what we're here for. We're here to do all the cool things. All of the cool things. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop the share for just a moment, or rather, I'm going to go back to the screens. Okay, thumbs up if you're back to seeing the Zoom screen. Great.
Mhm.
Fabulous. So we've gone through really 4 different methods of recording. We've gone through the PechaKucha, or however you say it, the Pikachu app. We've taken a look at Canvas Studio. We looked at PowerPoint, and then we looked at Zoom. Each one has positives and negatives. Positives of the PechaKucha, whatever it's called, is that it's simple, it's basic, and you just follow it step by step, and there's not a lot of wiggle room for you to do anything. All of the other ones have lots of different features that you can play around with. I personally really, really like being able to do stuff in PowerPoint, and just using the functionality within PowerPoint and not having to mess around with a lot of it. Margie's really excited about using Zoom. So
Oh, I
Margie,
am.
send me that presentation when you're done so I can take
Okay.
it out. But you can use any of them. And so really, what you need to do is you need to decide, and obviously talk to your professor. If they have a requirement for you to use a certain platform, then go ahead and use the platform that they want you to use. Otherwise, if they're like, you can use whatever you want, then you just want to think about which one is going to present the fewest stumbling blocks for you. Which one's going to be the one that's going to be the easiest for you to navigate. Now, if you're like, well, I would love to use PowerPoint, but I'm actually not very familiar with PowerPoint. How in the world can I use it? Well, if you go to lbc.edu,
Oh, yeah, I need this.
saw that merge straight on in.
Yep.
lbc.edu, and you go to the library menu up at the top. You'll scroll down under our Find subsection and click on Research Guides.
I did do that.
And then click on Academic Services. Now, just so you know, I'm actually going to take you somewhere else first. If you're looking to see our upcoming workshops, you can click on Ally Center, and it'll take you to our upcoming workshops. We do have 2 additional workshops for the remainder of the semester. I'm going to be running our next one, which is the Final Project Showdown. So you can come in, and it's just going to be it's more of like a sort of study group space where if you have specific questions on whatever your final project is, we're going to go over it. So if you're like, wait, can you talk me through some revision strategies for my final paper? We'll talk through some revision strategies. If you're like, wait, so I started my presentation, but how do I? We'll talk through that. And we'll talk about just some simple de-stressing strategies because it's the end of the subterm. Come on, it's right before Christmas and all of the holidays. I mean, it's right after Thanksgiving, right? So we get to at least breathe easy. We need to drink some caffeine to wake up from all the turkey serotonin, right? Our final workshop isn't up yet, but I'm actually really excited about it. It's going to be a time where we're sort of like reflecting on back on the previous semester and looking forward to the next one and thinking about like, hey, what lessons did we learn? What do we want to continue in the next subterm? What do we want to do differently in the next subterm? And it's going to be a collaborative effort with the Ally Center team. So I'm really excited. I hope that you guys can make it. It's going to be the final week of the subterm, so everything's sort of calmed down a little bit. And maybe you can hop on right before you peace out for all of the holidays. Now, again, I promised, I'm getting there, that I would show you where you would go if you need to see our previous workshops. So instead of clicking on the Ally Center button, I'm going to hit the backspace button. So instead of hitting option 2, you're going to go down to option 4, Introduction to Academic, whatever it is, Reading and Writing. And over here on the right-hand side, at the top, we have resource videos. Right here at the top, click on that. And it'll have all of our previous workshops that we have finished, edited, and uploaded. I actually still have a couple of workshops. I've just been so busy that I've been like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, I need to edit those and upload them, but I'm still getting there. So a couple of these are mine recently. So Stitching in Sources, one I did recently. I was part of the Navigating Online Well series. The one that we were talking about is all the way up here, PowerPoints that pop. And so you can click on any of them. And once you click on any of them, it'll actually take you to our YouTube page. And once you're on our YouTube page, you can also see any of the previous workshops that we've done from our YouTube page as well. If you're in FAS 100, LAN 100, or LAN 101, or BTH 101, just wanted to also name drop that we have study groups for those. If you are going back to our Ally Center page, go back to the research. Oh, I clicked too far back. It's okay. Which tab is it? That's a great question. I forget. Ally Center? Ally Services? There we go. If you go to the Ally Center tab, over here on the left-hand side, Ally Center Study Groups is our home base page for all of the study groups. And so if you feel like you need some additional support in a specific class, but you don't need quite enough support to schedule a full visit, which you should totally do because we're cool cats, schedule a visit with us. But if not, and you just want to get to know some of the other people in the class, be able to collaborate a little bit, study groups are a great way to do that. Can I hear some testifying from my LAN 100 study group? Testify. There we go. Absolutely. And so, again, it's a really just great space to ask questions, get some additional help. It's sort of, especially as we're getting toward the end of the subterm and getting over that final hurdle toward the finish line. Any questions from anybody before we close out?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you do have any additional questions, please feel free to hang on. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a simply fabulous rest of your evening. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank
Professor.
you.
Thank you, Mariah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Absolutely.